Assalamu alaikum all. Welcome to the third of our series of Coej Sports Ladies podcast. This is titled Speaking to the Sporting Stars. Let's speak to some of our legendary sporting icons who have had some great experiences in their respective sports. How did their journey start and what's kept them going for so long? What is it about their sport that they love so much? And what advice would they give to girls who want to be as successful as them? This is Coej Sports Ladies podcast. My name is Zainab, and I'm delighted to be joined by Zara Karmali, who was born in Mombasa, Kenya, and started swimming when she was 5 and was taught by her dad and a school coach. At the age of 9, Zara got the youngest best swimmer for her school. Growing up, training involved 1.5 hours early morning and 1.5 hours in the afternoon, 5 times a week. She has received first prizes in school swimming galas and AFED swimming competitions, where she now has her fastest 25-meter time of 12 seconds and has represented Haydari in the swimming competition in 2019 and got first prize. Rifat Ibrahim from Switzerland, who has been a swimming lifeguard for several years, and during her college and uni days was also playing soccer for her hometown team. But above all, her strength is at table tennis, for which Rifat has competed in Africa, one in the UK and Dubai. Rifat has had the opportunity to have been able to travel around the world and witness and participate in some amazing sports spectacles. She's also had the privilege of meeting some of the greatest sportsmen. Sabira Alu, who was born in the UK and started playing netball for her school team in primary school, and then on to secondary school. Sabira played in her Coej Ladies tournament when she was 15 for Stanmore and has continued to do so almost every year. Sabira still plays netball for Stanmore Jaffreys and for a team in a Sunday league, where she is also on the committee for Watford Netball League. Sajda Kimji, who started playing badminton when she was 11 and played in Oxfordshire County, then moved to Milton Keynes. Sajda had a 10-year break, then started playing again with the local league and continued her journey with her first tournament back in 2018, representing Milton Keynes Jamaat by herself, and since continued training 3 to 4 times a week, 2 to 3 hours at a time. So before we begin, just another reminder that we have a date for this year's MAMT, and it will be held on the 14th of May in Croydon for 16 plus, where netball, badminton 50 plus, Scrabble, and social swimming will be taking place. So please follow us on Instagram by searching for Coej Sports Ladies for all the latest updates. Thank you. So, I've just read those profiles and I think that's absolutely amazing, listening to all of those amazing experiences that you've all had. But let's start with Sabira. Should we start with yourself?
Okay.
So what's gotten you into netball from such a young age?
I think like most girls, we played at school. And yeah, it was a sport I really loved. I really enjoyed. I was shooter then. I still play goal attack now. It's a great sport, making friendships, working in a team. And it's something, I really enjoy doing. And yeah, good.
So how many years has it been now since you've been playing every year?
So as I said, we played in the first ever Coej tournament, ladies tournament, when I was 15. I'm in my 40s now, so it was a long time ago. Played with some of the girls who still play now with me, Nazneen, Fatima N, that time Nasim Laka. That time there was just a few Jamaats that went. Shabna Manti was with us. And yeah, it's been great that this tournament still goes on every year, strength to strength. My daughter's now 17 and she plays netball. She plays with me on Sundays in the league that we play. So it's really nice that we can do it as mother-daughter as well. And just really good for, having that social aspect, that exercise, that fitness, the friendships that you make. It's amazing.
So, what's kept you motivated for so long? What do you like so much about netball?
It's just, an hour of having good fitness, good exercise, but with your friends. And it's a fun sport. You feel like sometimes it's cold, it's winter, it's 2 degrees. Do you really want to go and play? But once you're there, you're with everyone. The atmosphere, the environment you're with, it's really good. It's motivated you to keep you going. Yeah.
And Sabra, obviously, you've been seen as a sporting icon, which is why you're on this podcast today. So what differentiates a good netball player from an excellent netball player like yourself?
Thanks for that. I think there are, in our community, we're really blessed to have so many good sportswomen out there, great netball players coming through. Stanwell just had one of their Ramadan netball nights last week, and it was amazing to see the young girls come through. And we have, it's great. I think you need commitment, you need training, you need fitness, not just in netball and other things, to make sure your fitness, 1 hour games with 15-minute quarters, a lot harder than when you play 5 minutes a quarter in tournaments. So it's being able to last the whole hour with your fitness and your stamina that really, I think, that differentiates people.
Amazing. So just moving on to Sajida now. So Sajida, take us through your badminton journey.
So I started playing when I was 11, and it was my cha-cha that got me into badminton. We used to play on 2 courts at a power plant, which was really nice. So as we started progressing, my brother and I, we were seen by other club members and told that they've got great potential. So we started training. And then my brother and I both got picked for the Oxfordshire County. And then the training just ramped itself up. And then I continued playing, moved over to Milton Keynes, and then decided to take a 10-year break. And when I took that 10-year break, I did feel like I was missing out on the sports. So I tried to get back, I got back into it and ramped up my training. So at one point, I was training every day for about 3 hours a day. And then I was able to participate in league and got seeded the 2nd best player in the team, and then went from there. So,
I love how you say it so casually, because that is not casual at all. I mean, having the experience that you've had, such that I don't think that's anybody that you can't take that lightly. But when you took your 10-year break, was it difficult to get back into it?
Yes, it was. It was really, really hard. I struggled, I think, physically as well as mentally. It was difficult to maintain, to go from nothing to 3 hours on court, constant drills, training, shadowing. It was difficult. But alhamdulillah, after perseverance, we got there. Well, I got there. We got there in the end.
And comparatively, so the player that you are now versus where you were when you were playing for Oxfordshire County, would you say that you're at the same level or better?
I'd like to think I'm a little bit better because I have a little bit more experience from when I was 17. But I think, as Sabra was saying, the fitness is really important, and you just have to keep going and keep persevering. And it's difficult. It's quite a physical sport, badminton. Like all sports are, but badminton is quite very physical. And going from speed of nothing to 100 takes a lot of impact on your legs. So you have to be very, very fit and very strong. Weight training is good too. So
wow.
It all helps.
You wouldn't think, well, I wouldn't think that anyway, that weight training would have anything to do with, making you a better badminton player. But I suppose with all that wrist action, I guess you would need some kind of strength in your hand. But
Yes,
and your legs, like you said. But yeah.
It's I think it's also, I think a lot of people just think it's just the wrist, but actually it's when your whole body goes, your whole physical body has to go into one shot, and it's from your feet right up to your wrists and your neck, and how you rotate and everything. It's you wouldn't believe how much strength it takes to get behind that shuttle. And you see, like myself in particular, I have muscles all the way down my right hand side, but nothing on my left, because I don't do anything. So that's why we won't train on our left to get it up to the same spec as our right. Well, I do anyway.
So Zara, you're our swimming stars. So tell us a bit about your swimming journey.
Growing up in Mombasa, I mean, we've always been next to the seaside, so to speak, and it's always been hot. So I think the most natural sport for everyone is just to swim. So in school, we used to have like classes, say twice a week. Over the weekends, we used to have swimming. And I remember it used to be raining and pouring hard. I used to be the first one in the pool, like ready for a swim. But I'd say the passion comes from my dad. He loves swimming and fishing. And until now, like he still crosses the ocean while he swims. So he's the one who kind of brought the passion into swimming for myself, taking us swimming every weekend, training us, teaching us when we're very young. And then obviously with training later on, it kind of picked up with swimming galas and other competitions.
I mean, from your profile, you training, what, like 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. How was that at that age? Was it tiring, I imagine? Did you fall out of love with it at any point?
So strangely, I don't know, I loved it even more. Like, so the more we trained, like the better you get, you just want to do it more and more, because you realize that, like 100 meters or 200 meters is not much. So like, in the sense, you just have to keep training, because like you're developing your speed, your stamina. So the more you did it, the more you want to do, if that makes sense, because you're constantly kind of competing with your old self to try and better your old self. So we used to wake up really early in the morning at 6 a.m., get picked up, taken to school, 1.5 hours of training, and then straight to school. After school, like you're home, whatever, you're resting for a bit, and then 4:30 again for 1.5 hours until 6. So don't get me wrong, it's a hectic schedule. Like you really have to love it to kind of keep doing it every day. But it was nice because you're with your friends, it's hot, it's sunny, and you're practicing. So it just makes it all lovely.
Okay. And I'm curious to know, because I know with badminton and, netball and table tennis, you have drills. Do you have that similar concept in swimming when you're training, or is there another thing that you do?
So you have heats. Okay. So in the sense, you have different kind of training patterns. So you'll start by, say, doing freestyle, 25 meters. And then you're just given maybe 5 or 10 seconds to rest, maybe 5 seconds. I think initially it used to be 10 seconds and they went down to 5. And then you've got to do it about 8 times. And then you're given 30 seconds to rest. And then you've got other heats to do. So then you'll have 50 meters. So like literally you're back and forth with no rest. So it's just trying to develop your stamina and speed, but at the same time trying to develop your fitness so you get, stronger and fitter while you're swimming.
So so just looking back at your profile again, so you've got your fastest time is 12 seconds for 25 meters. I mean, I don't think I could even run that fast, but anyway, that's amazing. So how did you get that time? What did you do?
So lots of training, and like kind of like every second or millisecond counts in swimming. So like you're literally, the time that you're stepped on the diving board to the time you like, dive in, like you have to time yourself. As soon as the whistle's blown, you're like ready to dive into the water. And that 25 meters is just swim. Like you're not thinking about anything else. Like you're literally blank. You're like, I need to reach to the end of the pool. No breathing. That's it. I'm going to do it. And you just swim to your fastest. So every year, whenever I come back to Kenya, I still have a few people who'll be like, we still need to compete to try and beat the 12 seconds. So we still have those competitions until now.
Oh my God. And, now that you live in the UK, how is training different? Do you still train right now, or?
So going into the UK, I mean, it's slowed down. It's much colder there. And I think, it was a struggle to find only ladies kind of swimming pools at times. So it kind of reduced to maybe once or twice a week. And then when we'd have an FED or, a sports competition in the UK, MAMT, then we'd train a bit more. But now after 3 kids, I think I've definitely slowed down a bit. but swimming in sports, like, they'll all agree that it's something that once you are into it, like, it always brings you back. You always want to keep doing it, be it badminton, netball, football. You just want to keep doing it and, keep fit.
Absolutely. So then we've got Rifat, who is our table tennis star. Rifat, do you want to tell us a little bit about your table tennis journey?
So the journey to play in different tournaments started when I was living in Dar es Salaam for a short time. I remember there was a tournament in Moshi. So I joined there and I represented Dar es Salaam. It was a very good experience. And then I participated in Peterborough in 2018. Another experience, because I was the only one from Switzerland going to UK and I didn't know anyone. And Nazneen auntie helped me a lot, guide me, introduced me to some people. And slowly I played with everyone, and I end up with some, I referee some games, and it was really a good experience.
And what got you into table tennis, Rifat?
Here in Switzerland, you find lots of outdoor cement table tennis in park, in school. So whenever I have some free time, I was going and playing and joining other people. And I was also watching them and learning.
Nice. And you mentioned, obviously, you in 2018, you played in Peterborough. You must have played in tournaments after that as well, yes?
Yeah, I joined also in 2019. I was in Birmingham for single and double in table tennis. I was a bit more confident because lots of people knew who I was, where I was coming from, and it was really pleasant.
And how has it been participating in all these different tournaments?
Very nice, very friendly. People are adorable, and when they know you, they come to you, they speak to you, and we end up playing so many games together. It was very, very nice. And then just before COVID, I went to Dubai for Unity Games, and it was a very good experience too.
And how does, because I'm curious, how does Unity Games, does that differ to the tournaments that you've played in the UK? So I think, did you play in racket sports as well in Marhaba?
Yeah, just table tennis and tennis. Yeah.
Okay, and how do the different tournaments differ?
In Dubai, there was a huge crowd. It was very big. In UK, it was like familiar. Everyone was close to each other and helping each other and playing as a family, as a friend. It was very nice.
And do you have a highlight in all these tournaments? Is there a specific moment or a particular game maybe that stands out for you?
Whenever I play, I try to be very motivated, serious in each games. Sure. And I try to give my best with always a smile.
Yeah, definitely. I know we've played with each other as well, Rifat. So
I remember you.
Yeah.
I remember you in 2018. It was a big challenge, and that's why I came in 2019 again.
That's really good. No, it's good. I'm glad. But so just taking it back to the floor then. So I mean, we're all women here, and I'm sure some of the ladies and young girls listening to our podcast would want to know, you're all very successful in what you do, but I'm sure you've got other bits in your lives as well that you're busy with, whether it's with your family or your careers. How do you balance all of this out together and still be as successful as you are in the sports that you play? And that's open to everyone.
It wasn't easy at all. I'm a mother of 3 kids, and they are now 11, 13, and 15. When in 2018, they were still small, so it wasn't easy to practice and to look after them and to come to UK to play. It was a long journey, but I was motivated. I wanted to show what I have inside me and to play and also to meet people.
No, that's really good. Anybody else?
For me, I found it that I had to take my kids with me to courtside, and they'd be sat on courtside watching me play, and sometimes playing on the other court. So when I used to train on a Saturday for 4 hours, I used to take the kids with me, and they used to be sat on the other court playing themselves or reading or doing something. So it's quite difficult, but as long as you're motivated and you keep going, it does become quite fructious in the end. I just keep going. And I think, as Rifat was saying, the support from other women, I think that's such a big key. And I felt that when I came for my first Marhaba tournament, and I was the only one from Milton Keynes, and how Haydari supported me, all the young girls, from the young girls right to the older women, it was so lovely. It's such a great thing to see, that you can be inspiring to those young children. And the young children came up to me and said, "We have the same trainers as you. We have the same racket as you." And it's that's what keeps you going. And career-wise and everything, you put everything on hold and you just dedicate yourself for those couple of hours just so you can, maintain a good fitness and become better at the sport. If you have that passion, you want to be the best of the best you can be.
I think I agree. You've got to be committed, you've got to be organized. And my children are a little bit older, 17 and 16, but it's really good as a role model for them to see that we can be working mums, still have a family, and still put that time for sports, especially for women. I think in our community, in the past, it wasn't such a big thing for women to do sports. Different now. When we grew up, it wasn't our mums didn't do all of this. And it's really good for them to see that mums can do this. I think it's important for us to have our own bit of me time, a bit of when your kids are older, you'll need things to do to fill your time, to have hobbies, to have your own time. It's really important, I think, mental health wise. So it is good for our children to see that we can do that, and for us to have a little bit of a life away from just family and children and work, and have that me time. I think it's really important. Also probably in all sports, we find this in netball, it's very much, there isn't enough Muslim representation. And if they can see, our mums in hijab are out there, it's good for them to, I think that's why Asia, my daughter, plays netball, and when she went from a young age playing into league and county, is because she didn't feel inhibited with her scarf, with hijab, playing there, because she'd seen her mum has played out in tournaments. And I think it's good for the young generation to see, as Muslim women, we can also hold our own, and they can have the confidence to go and play in outside tournaments and outside sports.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't doubt for a second, Sabra, that you're an inspiration to your own daughter. The fact that your daughter is playing netball, I imagine, is also, well, it's down to yourself, but being an inspiration for her. So, and I think what you're saying about specifically with netball, this sort of resonates to me with the podcast that we were hosting before, where we had a couple of the sports heads talking about how there wasn't that representation of women with hijab playing netball, and how, doing the tournaments that we do, that's sort of helped to change that. Was there anything that you wanted to add to that, Sabra?
No, I think it's given Muslim girls the confidence to play outside in teams, to be able to say, well, we don't wear the sports, we can wear our tracksuits, we can play in hijab. And in the league that I'm on a committee on Sundays, and we play, it's an outside league, and we're the only team that have hijabis, and the only team that are probably of color. And it's so nice for them to see Muslim women playing, and they comment on that all the time, that it's really good. But I think we just need more women out there to play.
I definitely agree with what everybody has said. I think the support from the community, support from other women, so be it for all these festivals, like everyone has their kids with them. I remember I had my little one who was probably 6 months, but everybody's happy to offer a helping hand while you're playing. And other people see that, and other people, other women, other mothers are comfortable to kind of bring their children and participate in these competitions because they see that, there's help. The children are cheering for their parents, for their moms. It's just so beautiful. It's really beautiful. And just, I like to add that even credit goes to the families, like, to our partners, to our parents, the number of hours they spend babysitting while we're kind of out there playing our sports and training. It's great. The support is what keeps us going.
No, definitely. I mean, I know as a sportswoman myself, I go through this guilt. I've got a 1-year-old now, and I know that I wouldn't be able to do half the things I do without my husband looking after my little one, or her grandparents on both sides. So I'm very fortunate that way. But I know I flicker with a lot of guilt myself. Do I go out and go to the gym or train or play table tennis or whatever it is that I'm doing? Or do I stay at home? Because you feel that guilt inside you. What would you say to mothers or young mothers like myself who are constantly battling with this guilt?
Well, if you don't look after yourself, you can't be a better mum to your children. So you have to make sure your cup is full and that you have satisfied your exercise needs or your you time. If you think about it, it's only an hour or two, maybe once or twice a day. Like, I don't know how often you train, but sometimes you do have to put yourself first to become that better mum to your children. And I can only say this because my child now my daughter's 12 and my son is 11. And yes, time goes really quickly, but they saw me playing and training, and that inspired them to be dedicated in the things they do. So if they see you looking after yourself, then they will do the same for themselves.
Oh, brilliant. That's
keep going.
Thank you. No, that's really good. And I'm sure other viewers listening to the podcast as well will be able to benefit from the advice. But let's just take it back to some of the tournaments that you've all participated in, whether it's a Marhaba or MAMT or Unity Games. Is there any highlights that you wanted to share with us?
I think for me, my biggest highlight was my first tournament that I played after my 10-year break, and I came back. And I think I played singles in the Marhaba one. And that was when it was just myself, and I put my brother's t-shirt on. And my brother's nickname is Bruno. And that's how I got the nickname, because I didn't have a jersey or anything. So I borrowed my brother's Milton Keynes top, being the only woman representing or wanting to play from Milton Keynes. Now it's a very different story, which is great. And I still remember how everyone from all the Jamaats were very encouraging, like talking, making me feel really part of them, and how Haydari themselves really took me in and treated me like their own. And it was really nice. And when I went up to get my trophy, I think I was sat next to Zara and all of you. And I was just like, I'm going to get my trophy, but I don't think anyone's going to cheer. And as I went up, the whole of Haydari just like ignited. And I was just like, that was a moment for me where I was like, oh, I can't wait to come to the next one. And I thought, right, this is nice. And alhamdulillah, since then, we've had more girls come up in we have a very small community here in Milton Keynes, but our sports heads, Massima and Shalina, have done an amazing job of getting the young girls in, and now they're participating in MAMT. And we had 2 teams participate, which is a big deal for Milton Keynes. So I think that's it's so nice to see that from one singular to getting more people to play. It was really helpful, and Haydari like boosting everyone on, which was really good.
Yeah, I mean, I love that, just to add to that, honestly, like that's what makes the festival so amazing. Just the community spirit, you're happily cheering other people. You make like lifelong friends. Like Sajda, you and I barely meet. Okay, we haven't met. The only time we meet is in festivals. But like, when we do, it just picks off. And that's the beauty of these festivals.
Yeah, 100%.
I always flew alone from Switzerland. I was always alone. But when I joined this these exhibitions and these tournaments, it's not I'm alone anymore. It's like a family and so many friends, and I go and get my trophy and there's so many people who are with you and come again and you are playing good. So it's a really good environment, I felt.
I mean, my daughter's come with us to tournaments from a very young age. From when she was like 1, 2, we'd bring our children and they'd be sitting courtside. And she was so excited to play in her first tournament. And now even every year it's kind of like, when's the mount? She'll be missing this year's because of A-levels. She's really gutted about. But yeah, it's that spirit is in that younger generation as well. And for them, the excitement of Marhaba, the excitement of mount tournaments, it's still there. Which is great. It's a great thing that we do and you all do. And please may you continue to do it because everyone enjoys it.
No, that's really good to hear. And how do we, so I mean, you're all in your own respective Jamaats, but so Sajda, you mentioned just now that your MK family, sports family has grown, which is great. And how do you all as sports icons contribute to that growth, do you think?
So Shalina and Masma, credit goes to them. They rounded up the troops, they did everything and they offered the session. So I remember when they first started and they said, can you come along and train the young girls? And I said, yeah, I can come along. And just the simplest of things of me changing my trainers to badminton trainers and coming in with a bag that's bigger than myself. All the young girls were like, oh my God, how many rackets do you have? How many of this do you have? Do you carry a spare pair of shoes? And just the simple thing of just picking up a shuttle with your racket. All these little girls were like, we want to be able to do that. We want to be able to do this. And it's just encouraging the community that we can play, we can be part of the bigger picture out there, and that we have that capability to do it. So yeah, just being there as a support. And when the girls say, oh, am I doing this right? I'm like, well, you could do this, we could do this, you're doing this amazing. It's just being that support. And how some mums have come up to me and says, can you cheer my daughter on and mount from the sidelines? And I'm like, yeah, of course I can. I have no problem doing that. So there I go, stand on courtside cheering this child on. So it's all the little things I think that help.
Did anybody want to add to that? Was there anything that anybody wanted to add? No? Great. So what advice would you all give to a young girl who really wants to, let's say swimming, for argument's sake, wants to do swimming and says, I really want to be amazing at swimming. I love swimming. What do I do, Zara? Give us some advice.
Train, just train. So literally, I think swimming is just, or with any other sport, it's just putting yourself there. Once you've got the passion and the determination to become better, that's just already you being ahead of anyone else in the game. Then you just need support in terms of training, making sure your diet's good, you're not having too much junk. Like you've got to build up. You've got to have the energy when you train. So you've got to have lots of carbs. It's kind of a different kind of diet, because you're trying to build up. And just going out there, taking part in competitions, timing yourself, making sure you're getting better as you're training. And that's it, just training.
Amazing. Anybody else? Any other advice that they want to give to the younger generation?
Exactly what Zara said, 100% commitment, training, and that pays off then doing that.
Also have fun, enjoy it. There will be times where you won't want to play and you won't want to train and you won't want to do that, and that's okay. It's okay not to have the energy to train all the time, but the most important thing is to enjoy what you do and have fun with it and keep persevering. And the days that you don't feel like training, don't train for that day or two. Give your body that break, that mental break, and then go back into it. But most importantly, have fun.
And
I think to play, to enjoy, especially to enjoy each games, and to challenge, just to tell yourself that you can do better next time, and just enjoy each games.
No, definitely. I think obviously it's very important to make sure that we enjoy ourselves while we're doing it. I mean, that's why we love it, right? We must love it because we enjoy it. So that's really important and central to everything that we're doing. And bringing it back to MAMT, I know that is a festival that I'm sure everybody enjoys, and that you've all participated in. So just a final question for yourself, Sabra, because you've been playing for so many years in MAMT. How has the talent evolved, would you say, from when you first started? I know you were a lot younger then, but to now, or when you see your daughter play?
It's amazing. It's exploded in all the Jamaats. It's really good. And that's because of the effort that all the sports coordinators and all the Jamaats have put in to provide training facilities, training grounds, training weekly sessions. And that's why we see so much growth and so much potential and so much talent, and people taking their sports not just to MAMT but to other outside tournaments and leagues, which is really good. And that community spirit, it's really nice. Like it was said earlier, sometimes we don't see people for the whole year. We only see them at, during MAMT tournaments, and it's like we just pick up where we left off, and it's really nice. It's really good, and hopefully it just continues to develop. Yeah.
Brilliant. So thank you to all our sporting icons for taking their time out to get together, and thank you to our viewers who are listening to us today. So let's please remember that we'll be doing a series of podcasts with exciting topics, and if you haven't already, just a reminder to follow us on Instagram, and feel free to direct message us any suggestions of topics that you are interested in, or email us at coejladiesports@gmail.com. And inshallah, hope to see you all soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.